Ho, 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 ho. That was extremely in sync and well done. Welcome back, everybody, to Bad Film Good, the podcast where we look at poorly rated movies and we ask the question, is this bad film good? Ho, ho, ho. It's trying to still keep in the Christmas theme. My name is Declan.
And I'm, what was it? What was the monkey?
Oh, no, the monkey's dead.
Oh yeah,
Did I not tell you?
Oh yeah, I'm back. I forgot. Yeah.
This time I resurrected Aiden, and I hired Aiden to do a hit on the monkey.
So the monkey's
Curious George.
Oh yeah, that was it. Curious George.
Now Curious George is dead, and now Aiden is back.
Thank God. It's good. It's good to be here. I've learnt my lesson.
Well, hopefully, we've yet to see any side effects of the resurrection, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, there's one. But today's Christmas special episode, as we are doing all this month, is Christmas with the Kranks, which is it's a staple Christmas film. If you ask me, that may or may not give an indication as to how I look at this film.
This is your Deck the Halls.
Yeah, this is my Deck the Halls, and Tim Allen is my Danny DeVito. But we'll get into that in a bit. But first of all, in the most festive holiday seasonal way, Aiden, tell us, what is Shrekking this week?
What's Shrekking this week is... Can you hear music playing?
No? What, on your side?
Yeah. I might have to go see what the fuck's going on. It's like a grand orchestra. Started playing. What's Shrekking this week? And it's like,
what's Shrekking this week? And it's like, I don't know why I went to Jewel of the Fates, but
what is Shrekking this week?
This week.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna give it 2 seconds. I'm gonna see what the fuck's happening.
Right. Okay.
Shrekking.
What was it?
My dad he's watching some like history show thing, but he'd like sat on the buttons or something. So it just like turned up like
I could
so
just imagine
loud.
it turned up and he was like, oh, I'll leave it.
It's more
like blasting out and taking the skin off his face because it's so loud. And he's just like
piercing his face.
Leave it.
He's asleep. He's just like asleep, lent on it. It's just like da, 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 da. But yeah, should we?
Let's get into what's Shrekking. You can cut out the middle bit. We can keep either side in.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. All right.
It's a bit of entertainment.
Okay. What's Shrekking this week? Yeah. What is Shrekking this week? Yeah. So what's Shrekking this week is this is an article from Heart, as in Heart Radio, 96 to 107 FM or AM.
Not sponsored.
PM. DM.
AM or PM? I don't know what time it is over there.
Where am I? The article says, Shrek fans have childhoods ruined by X-rated detail in Lord Farquaad scene.
Is this going to be the penis?
This is going to be the penis. I had no idea about this. Right?
Really?
Yeah. And
I've seen somebody like point it out at some point.
Yeah. So the article's like, a TikTok user has posted blah, 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 blah. There's Shrek, blah, 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 blah. Very rude. And I was like, is this going to be some... Oh, look, he's, if you look in the background, there's a long phallic object, which it could be like a dildo. It's really rude. One of those things where you're like, okay, you're stretching here.
You're reaching, mate. You're reaching.
But I watched the clip, and if you don't know, basically, it's the bit where Lord Farquaad is like, hey, mirror, mirror on the wall, show me the bloody princess again. Go on, show her. And the mirror
looks... fucking pics, come on.
Go on, show her. Go on. Go on. Yeah, go on.
Gets a Stella.
There you go, I put her on the screen again. But like...
Rewind! Hey, put
Pause.
it back on.
Pause. He's like
watching
screenshotting
that.
on the mirror.
I wasn't sleeping.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be some fucking thing. So he's talking to the mirror and he's like, oi, Jara's the princess, and the mirror looks kind of embarrassed and he's like, oh, okay. And then Lord Farquaad, right? He's laying in bed in his zebra fucking blankie or whatever, and he like you'll have to if you search it up, you could probably find the video, the expose, but like you have to really be watching, but about where his cock should be. Suddenly he's like smiling, he's like, yeah, there she is, good old Fiona. And then there's a little bulge, and then he looks down, goes like, oh, like, oops, and then like readjusts himself. It's clear as day, mate.
Yeah.
He's got a fucking boner.
He just gets a fat boner in the middle of... It happens. Literally.
It fucking happened. And I was
And
like...
you don't notice
yeah,
at first.
and I was like, oh, well, this is just going to be some fucking... You know, like, how is there something
Bloody
that we've
PC
missed?
gone mad.
Yeah. How is this? How have we missed this for so many years? Like 20 years later, like this is just going to be like a stretch. But nope, he fucking gets his cock out, and starts checking it.
How did I miss the scene where he checks up to the mirror? It was clear as day. It was in front of us the whole time.
You see everything. Last 5 minutes.
It's in live action.
It just cuts to live action. It's the
Like,
director.
SpongeBob sometimes cuts to like live action shots.
Yeah.
It's just spliced together with like a Shrek theme porn.
1 hour later.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. No, please, no more.
But then,
Anyway.
yeah, I mean, like, the articles, I just found that funny, the article's shit, because it's like, well, if you hadn't noticed, this is really rude, and then it's got quotes from people in the comments. It had, there's just nothing in this article that they had to get 5 different people's reactions, which are all saying the same thing, being like, oh no, my childhood, wait, what? There goes my childhood. Oh no, Shrek! It's
To
ruined
like
my childhood.
justify
It's my childhood.
it being an article and not just them putting them just tweeting out, "Hey guys, do you see the dick in this film?" And I'm not talking about Lord Farquaad himself.
It's my dick.
Yeah,
I've spliced it in.
but see if you can find it.
But yeah, that's what's Shreking this week. Just a quick little
PSA. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure somehow that fits in with the festive season.
It gets me in the mood. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
But smooth transition from there. Skibbity bap beep bap.
Skibbity bap. Check out my cock.
As we said, as we said on top, this week we looked at Christmas with the Kranks, and this came out in 2004?
Yeah, 2004.
And I think we watched it on Amazon Prime.
Indeed.
The first place I went to was Disney because I was like, do you know what? There's probably that era of movies is full of films that I didn't know were Disney films that all had like Tim Allen in them.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I had to check.
This is it's always, it works the opposite way. If you think it's a Disney film, it's not a Disney film. If you think it's not a Disney film, turns out it's a Disney film. Say that Private Ryan, Disney film.
And even if you don't think it's a Disney film and it isn't a Disney film, it will become one eventually.
Yeah.
Because
they'll buy it.
They'll get there. They're coming for you. But no, we watched it on Prime, which describes it as being... In Revolution Studios' new comedy, Tim Allen plays Luther Crank, a man who decides to skip Christmas and all the surrounding trappings and go on vacation with his wife.
That sounds like...
That's just bog standard.
Yeah.
And not massacre for once. So I think this is a record for Prime.
No, it's the other guy. You remember when he had the two versions of Santa Claus fucks the Martians or whatever it was? And then
that's a parody.
That was on a different site. But yeah, you got the two guys. One of them's really working hard at his job, and the other guy just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
Said it was
it's the other guy who covers him when he's on his day off.
Yeah,
because he works in like marketing or some other department, and he's just like, oh, fuck's sake, this isn't my job. Okay, just type these in, blah blah blah. Does something, I don't know. Fucks the Martians. It doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna watch this one film.
Yeah, it's me. It's my job.
Yeah. That's what you'd be. Yeah. I thought you were dead, but you weren't. You're just covering.
I was writing Amazon Prime descriptions.
Yeah. But give me some Amazon Prime details about this film.
Okay, well, if you haven't seen Christmas with the Kranks, basically,
and how dare you?
Well, do you know what? I hadn't seen it. This is the first time I've seen it.
That's it. That's all I've got to offer. Like I said, to me at least, it's a staple. So
no, I definitely
it's a timeless staple, Aiden.
But that's the thing. Like, it's everyone. I've heard of Christmas with the Kranks. I was like, yeah, of course. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's Christmas with the Kranks. Come on, what do you want?
It's like Deck the Halls. Come on. It's Christmas classic. Everyone's seen it. But
we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight on it.
But if you haven't seen it, Tim Allen is depressed with his life, so he decides that him and Jamie Lee Curtis should go on a cruise. So they tell their selfish friends who are mad at them because they don't understand the concept of not doing Christmas that they're going on a cruise, and then they get really mad at them because they don't understand the concept of not having Christmas. So the neighbors start threatening them with pitchforks, and then they want to fuck a snowman or something. I don't know. And then so Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis, they have to fight their way through the town Home Alone style, like killing the postman and abusing animals along the way. But then their daughter says, do you know what? I might come home for Christmas. And then they're like, oh, fuck. We gotta
this bitch.
Yeah, this bitch. We gotta fucking do a whole thing for Christmas now. So they go to their neighbors, and everyone forgets everything that's happened over the past few days and helps them to directly lie to their daughter's face. And then they have sex or something.
Yeah, they all have a massive fucking Christmas Eve orgy.
Merry Christmas!
Oh, Santa baby.
It was made in 2004, directed by Joe Roth, starring Tim Allen, Jamie Lee Curtis, Dan Aykroyd, Steve Buscemi, Dava Hulsey, and Julie Gonzaloi.
And it was written by Christopher Columbus.
Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Chris Columbus. Good old Chris C.
Damn.
Chris Crumb.
Well, it had a budget of 60 million and it made 96 million, which isn't great. But then I'm thinking, like, how much money do you expect a Christmas film to make, really?
Yeah, I feel like Christmas films are more, or at least they used to be more like, they come around every year and they get more, you know, they're in it for the long run, you know?
Yeah, it's a long-term investment.
Yeah.
But it's got 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, and only 5%. 22 metal crickets like the movie.
Criminal.
Yeah. But moving on.
Yeah.
Look, if I've got 60 million and I want Christmas, make me Christmas film. I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah.
I was
okay. Well, I've got something a bit different for the pitch me this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you a little poem.
Okay.
All right. If everyone's sitting comfortably.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get my warm glass of milk.
Oh yes.
Okay,
right.
I'm ready.
Hickory, honey, ham. Tim Allen says Christmas be damned. They get some shit tans, Blair ruins their plans, and we all have a Merry Christmas. Apart from the random criminal who just can't stop stealing.
Didn't even rhyme at the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you do the we all have a Merry Christmas bit,
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a rhyme at the end. I just put have a Merry Christmas.
Hey,
the criminal as well at the end.
Merry Christmas.
And we all have a Merry Christmas. But yeah, should we jump skibbity jump into it?
Yeah, let's dive headfirst into the dumb shit. Skibbity beat bat. So first off, we introduced Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis, and Jamie Lee Curtis is fucking with Buzz Lightyear like there's no tomorrow. It's pouring down with rain, and she's like, "Gotta go into the shop, mate."
Yeah,
he's like, "Well, can't we go tomorrow? It's literally pouring down. It's the heaviest rain I've ever seen. Can I do this tomorrow?" She's like, "No, I've got to get some white chocolate. You go get me some white chocolate, please." And he's like, "It's fucking bad."
I mean, just Tim Allen is just so great. And he's, pending any Google searches about what he's been up to. Bringing it back, just in case. Just,
gotta cover yourself,
you gotta look out for yourself. But he, again, I just love his comedic, over kind of. It's like in this, he's so sarcastic, and he's kind of his expressions and stuff are so good. When like you said, they're sat in the car. By the way, this starts off super depressive. This does not start off like a Christmas movie where it's like, la, 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 la. It starts off with the two of them sat in bed looking like they want to kill themselves. And then the alarm goes off and then they get up because they have to take their daughter to the airport. And then Tim Allen's like, okay, fucking going to Peru, whatever. And the mum's like crying, like,
it's weird.
It starts off kind of quite abruptly, but also it just feels really depressive to begin with. And then they're sat in the car, and she's still sad, looking at pictures and stuff because she's going to the daughter Blair is going to join the Peace Corps or whatever. She's going to go and help.
She's going to go fuck a man in Peru. Yeah, she's going to go fuck about. But yeah, and it's pouring rain. And it's just the way Tim Allen's kind of I don't know how do you describe it without giving a kind of visual reference, but it's just the way she says about going, and she knows what she's doing. She's like, "No, well, why don't you just go get the chocolate?" And he's like, "Okay, all right, I've got to go then. I'll just go out in this pouring rain. All right." It's just it's great. And then the comedic kind of thing where I think probably, okay. Definitely nostalgia, kind of things where I'm like, I remember this, I love this kind of thing. There's this big puddle that in a pothole that he almost steps in, and he's like, oh, he kind of has this moment where he's like, oh, and he steps in that, and then the car fucking flies past and covers him and drenches him, and he's like, yeah, that feels right. That feels like probably what should have happened there. but then also so he comes back. He's fucking drenched, and he's like, there you go. Look at what you've done to me. And she's like, did you get the white chocolate? And he's like, no, they didn't have it. I want to go home. They didn't have any. And she's like, oh, but did you ask the butcher? He's like,
well, she says his name, and he's like, well, who's he? And she says the butcher.
He's like, wait, what? The butcher?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Why would I? It's white chocolate. She's like, nah, go ask him.
Yeah.
Get wet, cunt.
That's it. I just love that where he's like, oh, no, I didn't think to ask the butcher for chocolate.
And she's like, well, you better go ask.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
She's like dry as bone.
I don't know, I
really
feel like I'm treading on eggshells.
No, you can feel free to say anything. You might not be here next week, but no, I mean, I really like. There's a lot of stuff they do with the kind of. Got to get all technical here. The diegetic sounds within the within the film. There's loads of stuff that they do which I really enjoy. Like he says something about, he kind of says some sarcastic thing back about, you know, not wanting to get the chocolates, and then she looks at him. She gives him like the death stare. She looks at him, and then the thunder just goes like, and he's like, "I'll go and get the chocolates." She's like, "Okay."
At the start, like it's really weird because the soundtrack is really sinister. Because they wake up and they're depressed, and then they're like in a thunderstorm, and she's like, "Go get the fucking chocolate. Get the fucking chocolate." And then it's like, it's a weird, like, I thought it was like, oh, is this like some weird horror movie thing where it like tricks you to be a Christmas
with the crying.
Well, I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's a Christmas film, but then tricked you. It's actually a horror or something, because it was like, bum, 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 bum. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, was that at the bit where he was like talking with her, and it's like, is it not supposed to be because it's as if, you know, she's the scary one? Like that's the but is that not the bit when it does
no,
that?
It is, but it's like,
and it's kind of playing on that whole thing of like the boomer humor of like, haha, wife scary.
Yeah, bloody wife.
Like, you bloody know what this is, that you relate to this girl making you go out in the rain and get the fucking when she gives you that look, oh, you know you're in trouble.
Men. But I was like, this isn't a fun Christmas vibe. This is scary. What's happening?
I'm sat there like, he has to go get chocolate.
She's like, if you don't fucking get that chocolate, I'll break your fucking neck. Blair's dead.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening? I'm scared. Yeah. But yeah, he sees. So he's like,
he's having a bad old time.
He's having a bad old time, and then he sees a poster which is like, "Hey mate, you having a shit time for Christmas? Why don't you have a bloody cruise, mate? Come and get a bloody cruise." And he's like, "You know what? That's a pretty good idea, actually." So he's like,
"Yeah." Oh, and he keeps turning down an umbrella from the Santa that stood outside. He's like, "You want an umbrella?" And he's like, "I literally could not get more wet right now." And then, but as he's like saying that, he like, because he just bumped into this guy and knocked one of the poles that's holding up the outside bit of a store. So the kind of fabric out kind of what would you call it, like sticky out bit.
Yeah,
like a porch on a house. It's probably a word that I'm being dumb and not.
It has a name. But, I can't remember it.
Yeah, it's like a kind of overhang thing, and like a canopy kind of thing. Is it just canopy? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Point is, he knocks it, and just never-ending waterfall of water. Like, there's no way there was that much water on it, but water just pours onto him and just soaks him through. And it's just the Tim Allen. He's just like, he's like, I could not get more wet. I do not need an umbrella.
Yeah,
so I was like, all right.
Yeah, more on that fucking Santa later. But
yes.
But like, so he sees his cruise. They're back in the house, and he's like, "Hey, I've done some maths, and basically quick maths." And he's like,
because I guess he's an accountant or something. I don't know.
He's got
it's
some
never
like
office job, and he's like tip tapping away. Again, which was in time to the music, so very good.
But so
love it, love the film, mate.
So he's going like, "Oh, I've done the maths, and we spent $6,000 on Christmas last year." And first of all, I was like, "Are you fucking $6,000? What the fuck?" Like,
I know, like, considering that it's clear that they reuse a lot of the same stuff. So like Frosty the Snowman, they just keep him in the basement. And he was saying like, oh, we spent £76 on bauble repair, but that's a long shot of away from £6,000. I know they host like the biggest party in the neighborhood for Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but
£6,000
or dollars or whatever.
I mean, who knows how much they donate, but no, they said 600.
Yeah, that's my point. He goes like, he's like, oh, we spent $6,000, but if we go on this cruise, it's like $3,000. And she's like, oh shit, so we're gonna be saving money by going on a cruise. That's fucking sick. And then he's like, and then she goes, oh, but are we still gonna do the $600 donations, to the police and whatever it was? I can't remember. And he's like, nah. And then she's like, oh, well, can't go. No, won't go. No, can't go. And I was like, first of all, just go on the cruise. But then also, Tim Allen, just pay the money. It's $600. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm saving $3,000, but anything less than that, not worth it. Might as well just spend more money.
That is the thing, is I'm like, we'll get more into the whole, like, the rest of the neighborhood's opinion on what they want to do for Christmas.
Well, not just the rest of the neighborhood, the entire film. Yeah. Everyone in this is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but like we'll get to that side of things. But because I'm like, I think that they are. So the whole idea is, he says about the cruise, and he's like, hey, she wants to kind of take her mind off of the fact that her daughter, who has been there for every Christmas for 23 years, which, by the way, she's not 23, but for 23 years, she's going away to Peru. She wants to kind of take her mind off of it. And he's like, hey, let's go on a cruise. We'll take a Christmas to ourselves for once, because we've spent 23 years raising this kid. Now we can have some like time to ourselves. We can have a nice little cruise and stuff like this and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And he's like, but we ain't giving money to the kids. And I'm like, you were close. You were nearly there.
Also,
you were nearly faultless.
This film is
They had to give him something, I think, so that his point wasn't entirely just like...
was saving money.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much stuff in this that is just like included for essentially no reason. Because that thing, right, it's like, it's literally, they go... oh, you're still going to do the donations though, right? And he's like, no, can't do it. And she's like, well, I'm not doing this then. And then she like goes upstairs, and then it cuts. Next scene, and he's like, okay, fine, we'll do the donation if it means we get to go on the cruise. And she's like, yay! And it
fucking rides him.
She's like, yeah, fucking give it. Yeah.
She does at the end of the scene. She's like, yeah, okay, great. And then she jumps on him, and they have this joke that they did earlier, where he's like, oh, and he's like, it's not even Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? They're like, all right,
schedule,
Saturday night, come on then, let's fucking get this over with.
Get on, hop on. But yeah, I was like, that from the audience perspective, we've gone from we can't go because I want to give the donation, but you won't. And then him going, all right, fine, I give in. We'll give the donation. It literally happens with under a minute. Under a minute, he goes, no, I'm not giving the donation. Oh, all right, I'll give the donation. So what was the point? Why even include that?
Yeah, this film
There's
has
so
a lot
much of that.
There's a lot of time skipping in this, because in the beginning bit, you said about it being a few days, but this takes place over like a month. This film.
A whole month? I thought it was like a week or something.
Well, no, because isn't it literally like Thanksgiving? Because they just had their Thanksgiving dinner or something the other day, right? When Blair's leaving. They made some comment where they said about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think you're
right.
And
then, obviously, it's kind of the lead up to Christmas, so it's supposed to be over, like, ish a month.
Yeah, I think, you must be
roughly.
right,
Yeah, so, but, which, again, is funny, and we'll get into that, the fact that it's just a month. But, like, yeah, it does that kind of thing where it does skip around a bit quite quick, but I just remember this whole film. I don't really need to watch it, but it's like you with Deck the Halls. Literally, I've seen it so many times, and I'm just like, yeah, it's great.
But then, also, he goes like, he's like, oh, so he's like, they've decided they're going on a cruise. And he's like, all right, I'm going to tell people that...
But they're also kind of like, the idea is, it's not just like, oh, we're not going to, go all out and celebrate Christmas. His idea is, we're going to boycott Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Completely and absolutely, we are not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Why?
And that is like on his side. That's the unreasonable side where I'm like, they had a good point, but he's gone too far with it.
But yeah,
but I
more
love
on
the
that,
fact that he's reveling in it.
But
because I just enjoy, But no, I love that Scrooge kind of thing where he's just like, you know what? Fuck everyone else. It's great. I love it.
It's great, but also it doesn't make any sense because you're like, wait, but they're the Christmas party people. Like, has he always hated Christmas, or is he just like he secretly fucking hates Christmas?
Yeah, his like, motivations are very questionable, I suppose.
Yeah, but he's like
yeah.
He just goes. He's such a dick about fucking everything. He writes a letter at like. A fucking letter to everyone in the office being like, I'm not celebrating Christmas, I'm not giving out presents, and I'm not accepting presents. First of all, you could still accept them. Like, it's free stuff, just take it, mate. Like, fucking free stuff. But he's like, I'm not if you say Merry Christmas to me, I'm going to say bar humbug, fuck you, not doing Christmas at all.
No. He says you won't. He says there won't be any bar humbugs and stuff. But
right, yeah. Sorry,
he says like, if you give me a holiday greeting, then I'll return it. But that's it.
Yeah. And then like, but I was just like, mate, just email. It's 2004.
Yeah.
Email. Just fucking email. He's going around
I love
fuck you,
that's the thing.
Fuck you.
That's exactly it. I love it. I love the fact that he's going around and he's like he's handing it out and he's got a big smile on his face and he's all chuffed with himself and he's like, fuck you. Fuck you.
But it's just like, I don't understand what
I love it.
Where has this come from? I thought the whole thing was the money. Yeah. I thought it was like.
Well, I think that was him justifying it to her. I think because he's just like, he's like, you know what? We could just fucking skip it. We could just. I mean, maybe it's just been slow boiling. He's just got to this point where he's like, you know what? Fuck off. I'm fed up of this.
Yeah, but we haven't
you and
seen
your bloody
anything.
Christmas.
The only
we don't see it. That's why they're going to do the prequel. The 364 days with the Kranks. And it's the previous year.
But he's like, it's so weird because all we've seen is like, it's almost like he's like, that fucking rain, that's it, not doing Christmas. I got wet and now no Christmas. Christmas cancelled, fuck you, going on a cruise instead. If I'm going to be wet, I might as well be on a boat.
Hey.
Blake got it.
Yeah. But I mean, equally, I think everybody in the town is batshit crazy.
Everyone's insane! Everyone is insane!
This is like the whole kind of like, American suburban kind of neighborhood thing turned up to like 15 because they are just like, we do Christmas in this neighborhood, and if you're not going to join us, you're going to pay.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're like, it's bloody, we've just had Thanksgiving, you haven't put your lights out. Or, what's his name? Tim Allen? Fuck it. I can't remember what his name is in this. Luther, there we go, thanks.
Yeah, but I called him Tim Allen throughout.
Yeah. There you go, bloody Buzz Lightyear. You got no lights. What are you doing? Where are you gonna put your lights? And they're like, we're not actually doing Christmas this year. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You fucking get Frosty out here right fucking now before I shank you. I was like, what if you're Jewish? Or just don't...
they do make... No, so they do... Because when he's... That's the thing, is they do a couple things in this to I think, kind of quickly get that side of things out of the way. So there's I mean, the fact that they say we're not doing Christmas, but they have that bit at the beginning where they're like, okay, we still do donations. Although Luther would not have done them if he wanted to.
Wait, yeah.
The other thing is either somebody they ask or when somebody is gossiping to somebody else about it, and then they're like, oh, for like, is it religious things or something, or they've converted to something or whatever. They asked some kind of question about it being that, and then they were like, oh, no, they're just not doing it. And so they kind of, but
that's
in
not
a sentence, they establish
it.
this thing of being like, oh, it's not something that's fine, like a religious reason, they do something else. It's just that they're skipping it this year. And so everybody is like fucking paying for hits on them.
But it's just like, it's like,
I know.
It'd be like, are they Jewish? Because that would be fine. No, they're not Jewish. Oh, are they another religion? It doesn't. No. Oh, okay. Well, are they just like? Are they Christian? But just like, are they Mormon? Do they just not celebrate? They're still Christian, but they're no. They're just they are just normal people, and they have quite rightly decided. You know what? We're gonna go away for Christmas, so there's no point in us
spend a bit of healthy time on ourselves so we can relax.
Yeah. And
well deserved after many years.
And we're going to be away in a different country for a week, so there's not really much point in us like putting up the Christmas decorations because we're not really going to be there to enjoy it. So to be honest, it's going to be it's more effort than it's worth for us to doing this. Also, it's kind of a sad time for us because it's the first time our only daughter is going to be away from the house in a different country. So it'd be quite nice just to It's going to be quite an emotional time for us. So let's get out of the house. Let's forget about Christmas and just go. They're like, no!
Like,
Bring Frosty out!
Yeah. There's a bit where the first bit that starts all of that is where one guy who must have like a card shop or at least something to do with cards and things. So he comes out and he's like, oh, are you going to get your Christmas cards this year or something like that? Get in your order early. And then he's like, oh, no, we're not doing Christmas this year. And he's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? And I was like, one person, and I get that the whole thing is that it's like this small neighborhood kind of, or like maybe a small town and everybody knows everybody or whatever. But it is like one person not buying the cards, not that big of a deal. Again, for 1 year, it's just for 1 year. They're like, just this year, we just want to have a little time to ourselves. That is it.
And they all know each other, so they all know the context of, like, who's not doing it? Oh, the Kranks, the one with the daughter that's going away on a missionary, whatever she's doing, fucking a Peruvian man or
Well, there'd be some missionary, but they're in...
Hey!
But no, she's joined the Peace Corps.
Yeah, that's it. She's going to be away, so it's probably an emotional time for them. Yeah. Those Kranks, yeah.
Which, by the way, is fine for her daughter to go off and do the Peace Corps and everything.
Yeah,
she doesn't have to be here for Christmas.
Yeah,
She's doing something good.
Yeah. But if you're not celebrating... you must put up Frosty.
Yeah, and I get that, like, Luther is really rude about it. And he's, like, clearly, outwardly reveling in the fact he's like, yeah, I'm not doing shit. But, like, there's the bit where the scouts come up with the tree, and they just already have this, like, great tree picked. And they're like, yeah, well, you like the Canadian spruce or whatever.
Yeah.
We got this great one here. The prices are up slightly, but you know how it is. And then he's like, I'm not going to need one because I'm not doing Christmas this year. And he kicks the kid in the face. He doesn't do that.
But everyone's as bad as each other in both ways. Because he's like, he could easily be like, sorry, we're actually not doing Christmas this year.
But we'll give you a little donation.
Yeah, give her a little donation. Or even, he could have been like, hey, we're not doing Christmas, but we'll get I'll take, don't worry about the tree, but here's the money for it or something,
Yeah, like a little, donation.
Yeah. Or even the scouts could be like, he could be like, yeah, we're not doing Christmas this year, actually. And the scouts could be like, oh, okay, yeah, we understand that sucks, but hey, everyone's got their own thing to deal with. Let's move on to the next house.
Well, we'll come by next year. Because clearly, as we see later on, The scouts sold out.
Yeah.
They didn't have any. There wasn't any problem.
Yeah.
They sold out. They were fine. They sold everything apart from this little twig of a tree that they were like, 75. 75 big ones, please.
I mean, it's just like, wait, what? Why is everyone so insane? even Jamie Lee Curtis, they're like, they do this
Who is
thing.
probably the most normal one.
No, absolutely not. Won't have this because she's like, they go like, it's because Dan Aykroyd's there for some reason.
Dan Aykroyd is kind of he's like the chief of the town.
Of the neighborhood watch.
Not in any form. Yeah, he's like the neighborhood watch kind of big boy. He's the kind of people's would you say, like, leader, not whatever.
He's the mayor without being the mayor.
Yeah, he's the man with a plan.
Yeah, but he's like, hey, gonna buy some Crystal Head vodka, and also it's time to put up your giant snowman. Everyone has a giant snowman, and we traditionally do it on this night. And they're like, yeah, we're not doing that because we're going to be away. And I mean, you've seen the size of these fucking snowmen. It's a fucking nightmare getting this snowman up. And yeah, I just, it's more effort than it's worth. As we explained, we're going away, so we're not going to be enjoying the snowman. And they're like, no, bring out Frosty! And they're like bringing on the...
He starts throwing Crystal Head vodka skulls at them.
Yeah. He's like, I own this, it's fine. But and then people like bringing on the doorbell, like, hey, you gotta, hey, bring out, hey, you got Frosty? Hey, you gotta put out
harassing
Frosty.
them, like phone calls and everything.
Yeah, and then Jamie Lee Curtis is fucking hysterical about this hot snowman. She's like, someone rings the doorbell and she's like, oh, like hands in her face. I was like, what's happening? Why is everyone insane?
She's calling Luther and she's just like, they're outside, they won't go away. And they just sit outside like, come on, Nora, we want Frosty, we just want Frosty, that's it.
Yeah, and she's like, it's just like, why? What's happening? I expect this from these random people in the town, and I expect Tim Allen to be reveling in everyone's misfortune. But Jamie Lee Curtis, she survived an attack from what's his face? Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson chasing down Jamie Lee Curtis.
Hey, I gotta get you. Put down your knife.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, the new Halloween film that came out recently. They finally demask him, and it's Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's like, hey,
sorry about that.
Sorry. Yes, so, she's survived an attack from Mike Tyson. The last person I expect to be going like, oh, they want the snowman. Oh, is fucking Jamie Lee Curtis. What the fuck's happening? Oh. And then it's in the paper, the front page of the fucking paper.
But that's is that not the swimsuit bit like later on? Are you jumping?
Oh yeah, I'm skipping. I'm skipping
that is a
best
great
bit.
point.
Yeah. They like so they go. They're like, yeah, fuck everyone, and also we're going on a cruise, so we better tan before we go on a cruise, even though we're going to be tanning whilst on the cruise.
Because Luther starts going like fully overboard, basically.
Yeah, he's lost his fucking mind.
I just love, they're sat at the restaurant and he passes her some, just doesn't give a fuck, just passes her some like bikini stuff and he's like, oh, and he's got some like tiny ones for himself as well. And she's like, I am not wearing this. And he's like, oh, no, this is for something else. And then they go into the fucking tanning salon with the most orange woman to exist. And he's like, just don't mention her eyes. I just love like all these wacky fucking weird characters. He's just like, don't say anything about her eyes or something. And then it cuts to her, and she's obviously tanned so much time in the UV, but with like very slight kind of goggle marks where her eyes have been covered. Yeah. And then they go for the tanning thing and
there's some creepy weird man watching Jamie Lee Curtis.
I remember seeing it and thinking it was so dumb this time around. Because she's like, oh, for fuck's sake, okay, fine. And you kind of have like a comedic... The music kind of goes like, whoop, or something. Because she's just like stood there. Like, again, it's like you were saying, like, poor woman. Because she's just stood there looking in the mirror with this really ill-fitting bikini. And she's just this like way too small. And then the music's like, what? She's just looking in the mirror and she's like, and then she gets in the UV and she's like, fucking fine, all right, we'll see how this goes. And then some dude opens the curtain and goes to walk in, but he just kind of goes, and then like, and turns
like
around and walks away.
Fucking nerd.
And it's like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, what is he doing there? In that tanning salon? Why would he be there?
He just goes, and then leaves. Yeah. And then she
woman
bangs her head on the inside of it because he makes her jump. It's the elves.
Whoa. They're on vacation.
Yeah.
No, Santa's been arrested, so they're looking for other work.
Oh yeah, that's true. They've taken up work at the salon.
Tanning salon.
Yeah. Like, whoa, are you okay there, miss? Sorry, I didn't mean to come in here. I only got the use of one eye. Santa used to beat me real bad. She's like bleeding out of her forehead because she banged her head on the inside of the thing.
They've got Santas outside in the mall, like collecting donations. He's like, oh no, not again.
He's come back. He's come back for us. But yeah, she goes to get like a just like a Band-Aid, whatever. She cut her head when she banged her head on the inside of the EV. And I just love this. I always remember this bit because she's standing there in her bikini because the tanning salon entrance is just like facing the rest of the mall. There's no privacy bit in the main entrance.
It's a massive open space.
It's just a massive open space, and she stood there in the bikini and she's talking to the woman and she's like, oh, I need a Band-Aid or whatever. And the tanned woman is like, the orange lady is like, obviously super incompetent or whatever, because she's like, young, whatever. She's kind of clearly just like a part-time job or something.
Yeah.
And she's trying to find it, and then all you hear is Nora, and she turns around and the fucking like vicar is stood there, and she's like, what are you doing here? She's like trying to, with this tiny towel, trying to cover like her fucking sticking out everywhere with a bikini and everything, and he's like, it's a mall. I'm shopping. What are you doing? And then Luther comes out. But before Luther comes out, it's just this bit where he's like, you're bleeding, and then the towel she was using to cover herself, she's like dabbing her head, and she's like, oh yeah, I hit my head or whatever. And she's turns around to the lady, and the lady's like, I'm trying to find a bandage. And then the vicar just fucking like, he gets a real eyeful. He just takes his time and he works his way up and down, just checking her out. But it's like in this, his expression is like he's horrified kind of thing, or like he's like, what the fuck is this?
Nah,
but he takes his time. God damn, he's just like. And then she looks at him and she kind of covers herself up, like, what the fuck? And then that's when Luther comes out with his fucking budgie smuggler.
But not just like, fucking Luther. So the priest sees her and she's like, why are you, yes, hello, I'm in a bikini because I'm getting a tan. Why are you perving me up? And then it goes back to the reverse shop, and it's not just the fucking priest.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole crowd of people staring
at
whoever
he came with.
No, it was like half the town. It was the whole entrance. I was like, wait, there's like 20 people here.
They were his sheep. He's the shepherd.
Come on, church. Let's go to the ball and see if we can see anyone in the tanning salon.
Yeah, it's just like, let's go up this way. And they're like, but the church is back this way. He's like, no. I just want to do a pass by, just a walk by. And he walks by, and she's like, the one at the reception's like, hi, Vicar. Yeah. And he's like, we got any in?
They're like, okay, Vicar, can we? Should we go to church now?
Wait, it's like she's taking money on the side for people to go and imperv on them. That's why that guy walked in on Nora, and he was like, because he was like, I wasn't prepared enough for this. I knew it.
Exposed. Vicar. Yeah, and then like they finish in they're like, oh, okay, Vicky, you done with the tanning salon? He's like, yes, now we can go to the bra section in Ann Summers. Then they go to fucking Ann Summers.
And I just imagine these people like just helping him along because he's an old man. Like, okay, Vicar, come on.
They're just like,
he's like,
okay.
I like the see-through ones.
He's like picking them up, like holding them up to the light. Like the people in Ann Summers like, hello, Vicar. Hello, everyone. They're like, hi.
Hello, Father.
Yeah, we'll wait outside again. Yeah, just let us know when he's done. We're gonna go get a coffee. He'll probably be done in a couple of hours.
But that's where they have like, for some reason, they're on the front page of the local newspaper, where like somebody took a picture of like pretty much that shot we saw of the two of them stood there embarrassed while everybody's just looking at them like,
half naked, and they're like, and then the title, the news article isn't even to do anything with a fucking. The news article was like, hey, you know the Kranks, they're not doing Christmas. Everyone gang up on them because they're not doing Christmas. Also, here's them in a bikini. It's just like, wait, why is that even a thing? Yeah. What's wrong with this town? Because she's like,
how did they get this? How did they get this information? There's all these quotes that are like, this is absolutely awful. They're not doing Christmas. They're so selfish and everything. However, when she's getting pissed off with this, and she's like, you know what? Screw them. We are going to have this cruise that's in like 2 days, apparently. We're going to have this cruise because they're leaving on Christmas Day. She's like, fuck them. She's brushing her teeth. She's like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. And she goes off into the other room. And then the way that Luther kind of goes like, and looks at the newspaper.
Yeah.
He planted it.
What, did he though? Because
I think that's what that whole thing was, because she was going off on a rant and he looked super pleased with himself, and it was the way he kind of looked at the newspaper, whatever his reaction was, whatever, seemed like a kind of, because she was wobbling a bit because of like the Christmas tree and stuff like that, and being unsure, and then he kind of, it's the way he's just kind of like, and he seemed really like pleased with himself, because she was saying, where did they get these quotes from, and like this information, how did they know that we were leaving or going on a cruise and stuff? And I bet you he planted it, because he's like borderline sociopath.
Borderline? No, he just is.
Well, I mean, they just, from a writing perspective, he just kind of like changes at the end. He's like, I'll be nice now, and I feel the spirit of Christmas. But I reckon he did that.
I'm with you.
That was the quote, because it says in the paper that Frosty's hidden in the basement, and she's like, how do they know where Frosty is? And then Tim Allen looks off into the distance out the window, and he's like, they have spies everywhere. But it was definitely him.
Okay, well, I thought it was like implying that, but then later on he's like, how did you get this? Because he goes up to the neighbor later on, and he's like, how did they get this photo of us?
True,
and he's like, oh, I invited the photographer on the roof.
No, it was a photo. That one was a photo of the house. It wasn't the photo of them in the bikini stuff.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, later on, he's like, oh, they've got the photo of the house. Like, how did they get this? And he's like, yeah, fuck you. I put them on the roof. I hate you. And then I was like, oh, so he wasn't planting it? I don't know. This film.
I mean, who knows? Honestly,
it's just so contradictory to itself. Like, and then so anyway, later on, Luther is he's losing his fucking mind because he has dived off the deep end. The line is gone way in the it's a dot. The line is a dot because he fucking he's like, yeah, I'm sick of these bloody people. There's carolers, like, people asking about...
Dan Aykroyd is kind of... He's being really sneaky and he's... Or, no, it's not just him. It's the... I don't remember what the old man's name is, but there's an old man who lives across the road. And him and Luther have this weird kind of thing where they are just, like, mean to each other.
Yeah.
All the time. And, like, the old man calls Luther old man. And he's like, what? Stop calling me that. You're like... He said you're like 10 years older than me, but that guy is like 20, 30 years older than you. And they have this kind of like back and forth. So when these carolers are driving through, the old man is like, oh yeah, did you hear they're going to be skipping town? You should give them a little Christmas joy, a little Christmas cheer, give them a little sing-song. And they're like, okay. And they are there for like hours, just caroling away and driving Luther and Nora crazy. Because they're out on their like front drive and stuff.
See,
and that's when he does what you're about to say.
Yeah. So and just before that, again, Jamie Lee Curtis is just being like, "Oh, they're singing the oh," and I'm just like, "Wait, why is she like this? Why and why?"
I saw it all as being. Have you seen? I think we've talked about it before. Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix. Where it's this whole... you'd really enjoy that. You need to watch that. It's this whole kind of like suburban thing where there's a lot of things to it, but one of the things is that I took away from this as well is that it's this kind of suburban neighborhood kind of life where the most trivial things that just aren't a worry are like way blown out of proportion because they're so like, you know, comfy living and all this kind of stuff. So all these people just standing outside her house going, free Frosty, free Frosty. And she's like, I don't know how to deal with it. And I think that's hilarious.
I found it like, because that's fine, but I think it's because it's Jamie Lee Curtis. And I'm just like, why? Because she's just so completely different to any character that she usually plays, right? I guess it's like typecasting. So when she's all like, oh, I love Christmas. Oh no, there's a man outside. Oh, I'm just like, what are you doing? Stab him with a knife. You've done it before. I've seen it.
Trap him in your basement and set the house on fire.
Yeah. And then it's just, so anyway, Tim Allen, what's his name? Fletcher fucking...
Luther.
Luther, there you go.
I think Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor, yeah, there we go. Lex Luthor is like, yeah, fuck them all. And he like, it's obviously cold in the winter, so everything's freezing. He pours water.
He gets his hose,
and he just sprays his fucking, like, porch with water so that it freezes over, and then the next day, the fucking postman is like just going about his day. He's like, oh, I better deliver the post, and then he just fucking falls and breaks his back. I was like, what are you doing? And then the postman slips over, falls on his back, and then Luther just goes like, yeah, like fucking cheering, like, yeah, got him. I was like, what, the postman? What are you doing? And then
bringing me Christmas cards, the bastard.
And then there's and then he's like got this weird feud with it's like the same old mean man, the one that calls him old man or whatever. He's got this cat and he keeps on accidentally stepping on it and stuff. And there's this whole thing about like, me and the cat bloody hate each other. And the cat's like on his lawn, and then he's like, do you know what? I'm gonna fucking murder this cat. And he sprays the cat with his hose so that it gets frozen. And you see the cat And it's like this weird thing of like this frozen cat covered in icicles, and its like eyes are moving. I was like, that cat's dead. That cat is dead. You've killed the cat. And he's like, yeah, fucking got the cat. I was like, what?
Got him.
Why is he insane? Why is everyone insane in this? It's
so good.
It's just crazy.
I love it. It's the fact that, like, I don't know, there's a weird wackiness to this film that just has a real charm for me. And probably just because I watched it when I was much younger, and I know all of the kind of things and the way people say lines and the jokes and the things and whatever, but like I love it all. I think it's just so great. Like Nora sees all the Christmas carolers slipping and tripping on the ice, and then she runs out like, oh no, I've got to help them, and then she falls as well.
Yeah.
And starts like sliding through all of their legs, and then that's when she turns around and sees the cat and it's just frozen, stuck to the ground like
it's just fucking
insane.
It's great. She she's a fucking idiot as well, because
I mean that's the thing. That's the thing, is that they're both. I just like, he's an asshole and she's an idiot, and they're just like that's the charm of their characters. I mean, you know, I just love how he's so sarcastic and so just like, fuck you to everyone, and then she's like, oh no, but it's lovely and I want to be nice, and then she just does something stupid.
It's
great. It's great. I mean, this alone, like the next scene that I've got noted is my favourite scene from the film. And I remember watching it when I was younger and all of us laughing. And it's the Botox scene.
So this is the only bit that
because they're having dinner, or well, it's not even a dinner, they're just having like some kind of, it's like peaches and cream or something. I don't know what it is. Or yogurt rather, not cream.
Peaches and cream.
Peaches and cream. And Tim Allen is talking to her, and she's like, what have you done with your face? And his eyebrows are like all the way up, like horrific. And he's saying that he went and got Botoxed. And he was
he's like got this creepy smile as well.
Yeah. His face looks so like rubber. And it's just, his eyebrows are like stuck up, and he's got this creepy smile, and he's chatting, and it's such a great like performance thing, I think, as well, because it's so believable. Because he's talking to her and he's trying to eat these peaches, but his entire face is numb, and he just keeps dropping them out of his mouth, but like just all over the place. He's like, and it is so funny. And then they have the bit, because you have this kind of like funny gag that's going throughout them talking and stuff, and then she's trying to tell him like this important, like, oh, but I think we should be doing this and blah blah, and he's just sat there with his head back trying to eat the peach, just like like chewing it really like over the top, because he can't feel it. She's just like clacking his teeth to try and chew it.
I did find that funny.
At the pinnacle bit, the kind of punchline of the scene, when he says to her like, everything will be fine, and he takes a sip of the water, and then he goes to speak, but he's just not swallowed the water, so it just spills out all over his face, and it's just the stupidest thing, and the performance is just great, and I always remember that scene, and it's just it's funny. It's great.
Yeah, I did like that, but then, so it's kind of from this point where it feels like it's almost like two stories contained within a larger stories.
Yeah, it goes quite quick, doesn't it, where it changes around?
Because it's like, so the whole just over half of the film is like, oh yeah, so we're fuck our neighbours, we're just trying to get through until, is it Christmas
Day they leave, because they're saying
Christmas
that, like,
Day,
you know, flights are super cheap on Christmas Day because nobody wants to fly on Christmas Day or whatever.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be like some crap about some bloody shit crap about, you know, Christmas spirit and all that shit. Bollocks. No, I thought it was just going to be like, you know, they're doing all this avoiding stuff, and then like all the neighbours apologise, and then they all go on a cruise together, or something.
They're like, why don't you come on the cruise? And then Christmas on the cruise.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that. But then it turns out like it goes from this couple in insane neighborhood trying to avoid Christmas and people threatening them to a new, like, you can almost pick this bit up and focus on a new family, and it's like this new family haven't prepared for Christmas because their daughter's away, and they're like, yeah, well, we're not going to prepare. And then the daughter calls and she's like, hi mum, I'm coming home. Also, I've met this bloke in Peru. He wants to marry me. Also, he wants to have lots of kids. I'm only 23, by the way. And the mum's like, yeah, cool, that's normal. Everything's fine. And she's like,
and Tim Allen is literally banging his head against the door.
Yay, I can't wait to see you. And then the daughter's like, I can't wait to, is his name Enrique, I think?
Yeah, his name is Enrique, and because she said that, like, oh, I've known him for ages, we've been friends. Yeah.
Yeah, so his name's Enrique, and he's like, she's like, oh, Enrique's never had a Christmas, and he wants to try the ham I like, and I've told him about this ham. And then Jamie Lee Curtis is like, yeah, we've got the ham. Yeah, we've got I'm so excited. This is bloody great. We're not going on a cruise. We're so ready. Everything's going to be great. And I was like, why would you not just be like, yeah, we haven't got anything. Sorry, we were going to go on a cruise, but we'll cancel that. But just so you know, we haven't got anything, so it's going to be different. Sorry.
Yeah, because it's written so that the daughter is like, have you got everything together? Have you got all my favourite things? You are doing the party, aren't you? Like, looks at the camera like, wink, wink, wink.
It's just like, wait, but why? Why?
Because it's ridiculous. Because they are ridiculous, like, middle-class, suburban, bloody
They're all
idiots.
Insane. They're
and that's the comedy of it.
And later on, they go like, but it's not funny, it's stressful. Because they just go like, at one point they go like, yeah, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. She says something like, I can't remember the exact line, but it's something like, yeah, I mean, because they're decorating the house, they're like, it doesn't matter, just so long as Blair, which is her name, she goes, well, so no, is it Blair or Blake? Blair.
Blair is there.
Yeah. As long as Blair doesn't find out that we had booked a cruise. I was like, why would it matter? Why is it a secret that you booked a cruise? Why? That doesn't make any sense. That's so dumb. Why are you keeping it a secret?
Oh my god, I hiccuped there. I hiccuped in a laughing response.
In defense.
Yeah. It was so heinous that I hiccuped.
But I was just like, why? Why? That's so dumb. And then all the neighbours are like, so Blair's coming back home. And all the neighbours are like, yay, that's great. And they're like, yeah, but we're fucked, mate. We haven't got anything. And they're like, don't worry, we'll help you. I was like,
no, I love Dan Aykroyd's, like, his little call to action thing where they say Blair's coming home but they haven't got anything, and he's like, and he stands up onto the like, because the fire service came because Luther got stuck trying to put up the Frosty, and he was hanging by his foot and whatever.
Hung himself, wasn't
he? Yeah, and he stood up and he's like, now everybody, we all know Blair is coming home. And it was like, yay! And he's like, but these twats haven't put up their Christmas things. And then this one guy's like, why should we do anything for him? He's a twat. And then he's like, yes, he is. He's a bit of a
yeah. And the neighbour's like, he fucking killed my cat. He's an arsehole.
Yeah. And he's just like, but this is for Blair. Blair, who babysit all your kids. Blair, who made us all feel nice and happy when she was here for the summer. And the line where he's like, let not the daughter pay for the sins of the father. And I was like, I love how they're just like collectively like, you're shit.
They're collectively
but
a
we
cult.
like your daughter. Literally, it's like a cult.
They're like,
they're just like, you're shit.
Fucking.
But we'd like you to do it.
I think they missed a trick as well, like because, like you said, the fire engine people, the fire engine people,
Yeah,
the fire department.
yeah. You just went back like 20 years. You're just like the fire engine people. Wee, wee, wee.
Yeah, so the fire engine people come because Tim Allen was trying to put up Frosty because they're like, oh fuck, we better put up some Christmas decks. So they're trying to put up this Frosty Snowman on the roof. Whoa! What the fuck was that?
What?
That was like,
What is going on over on your end?
the fire people. Now there was like a weird flash of light in the sky. I thought it was like a comet, but then maybe it was a firework. But it was going downwards.
It was Danny DeVito's beam of light into the sky.
That was fucking crazy. I thought it was like, I don't know. I was like, is that a shooting star? And then I thought it was a plane crashing.
Is that a bird? Is it a plane?
Is it?
It's
Frosty?
Santa Claus.
It's Santa Claus killing the Martians.
Fucking the Martians.
Yes, the Martians coming to nick some kids.
How'd your wife?
But yeah. So anyway, comet aside, they turn up because he's trying to put Frosty on the fucking ceiling or something.
Yeah, he's put him on the roof.
And he's dragging this giant, like, fiberglass
He said 7
snowman.
foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7 foot fucking snowman up to the roof, and he's doing it by tying a noose around Frosty's neck and like trying to drag him up the side of the house. And I thought they were gonna do a gag of like, oh, is he putting up Frosty? And then they just see like Frosty hung by a noose up the side of the building, and I was like,
you know, they had that in the drawing room.
Yeah,
Or, like
yeah.
in some draft of the script, he hung Frosty.
yeah. And I was like, oh, come on, do it.
Yeah.
Oh, but and then when you said about the editing earlier, and you were like, oh, I love how it's in time with the music. It just made me think of this nauseating bit. Because they're like, oh, hey, the police, can you go pick up Blair or whatever her name is from the airport? And they're like, yeah, all right. And then they realise that she got an earlier flight or something, so they haven't.
So
they need more.
Yeah.
They need more time to decorate the house or whatever. So Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle is like, "Oh hey," because for some reason he can just talk. He has the police radio.
He must have got like an old police radio or something, because he speaks to them, and the police officer is like, "Spike, we told you to stay off the police radio." However, earlier on in the film, there's a whole gag around how Luther spoke to his neighbor who was going to his in-laws for Christmas, and he asked if he could have he could borrow his tree, and he lets him do it, but he gets Spike, Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle, to help him take the tree to the other house, and the police think that he's stealing the tree, and then they're blah blah blah. They don't believe him because Spike isn't there. He doesn't have the key. They put him in the cop car, and then Spike turns up and then shows him the key, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm Spike, the Thingy's kid," and they're like, "Huh, okay." And I'm like, wait, but you know who Spike is. So when he's like, "I'm here with Spike," they're like, "Oh yeah, who's Spike? Your imaginary friend, huh?" And it's all because he didn't like give them money for the calendar.
Yeah.
For the like, yearly calendar they do for the Fun in the Police or something, I don't know. But yeah, so Spike has like a radio that he like calls them on. He's like, "Mayday, you need to delay them."
Oh, it's just fucking dumb. And then
Although I do actually, I love the bit when Alan is Tim Allen. I mean, not like Alan, Luther, whatever. But when he's hanging upside down by his foot from the building, and then Nora sees him, she runs up to him, she's like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And I just love how dryly he's just like, "Actually, it was a suicide attempt. Apparently, I misread the instructions. Put my leg to sleep, though. And I was like, yes!
Yep, he's trying to kill himself. Yes!
The sarcasm.
But yeah, so they fucking...
Oh, and the hippie-looking guy who flags down the police when they're coming by to see what was going on is Rickety Cricket from Always Sunny.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
You got to go back and rewatch that and see him.
No, I will
It's him. He
rewatch the
flags
whole
them down
film
and he
just for
explains
that
what's
bit.
happening. And I think he's the one who later gets like shocked by the fuse box when all the power goes off or something, and he goes flying backwards.
Oh, of course.
And I was like,
yeah.
man, they just like to beat on that guy.
That's his typecasting.
Yeah.
But
This is in universe with Always Sunny.
But yeah, so this is the nauseating bit. This really fucking... I was like, okay, I'm not on board with this film. I'm sorry, but, you know, it was okay, but now this has just ruined it. Because they cut between Blair in the police car, like, trying to stall, and they're driving slow, trying to stall for time. Stewie on the radio... And then back at the party, they're like making cookies or something. And it's like in time with a really fast song. So it's like cut, 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 cut. And it's horrible. It's so... I was like, oh,
I do
God.
remember... I don't know if it was that bit or not. I do remember thinking, like, fucking hell, that was some bad editing.
Yeah, like, it's not just... Like, there's bad editing, and then there's, like, deliberate, like, obvious editing as a tool. And sometimes, you know, like, you can edit, you know, cutting in time with the music is fine, and it works quite well, sometimes. But not when you're doing it every syllable of a fucking song. You have, like, 3 frames of a thing, and it, like, cuts in between. They're, like, speaking, and they're like, yeah, it's just like, yeah. I was just like, fuck me. And then, so we get this bit, and then, so earlier on in the film, there's a bit with a ham. Jamie Lee Curtis wants a ham.
The hickory honey ham.
Hickory honey ham.
What a staple of this film. It's fucking great.
Disgusting tinned ham that, for some
this
reason...
massive egg-shaped tin. Like, literally the size of a fucking person's head, bigger than that. And there's one left in the store. And she asks somebody where it is, and they point it out, and she sees it. She starts walking towards it. And then there's this other woman with a shopping trolley who's also walking towards it. And then it kind of like looking at each other and realizing that they're both walking.
Yeah.
And then they start running, and then she accidentally like runs into somebody else's trolley and like fucking bowling balls through a display of other stuff. She's like, ah! And then the woman picks up the hickory ham, and then she's like, she says some fucking line like, have a good Christmas or something.
Yeah.
She's like, fuck you little bitch.
It's just like, what is...
I was like, needless, like fucking malicious energy is great.
Yeah, like, why is everyone in this just fucked? Everyone in this film is just fucked. And then, so I couldn't believe it, because they're like, they have the party, and Blair comes, Blair comes, and she doesn't know, they've lied to her face, and it's all great.
Yeah. But before Blair, like, when the police are trying to stall, they're just like, oh, let's just search this place, because we're just checking this place out, and they're pretending that they're looking for like a break-in or something, just to quickly pass the time. And then suddenly there is like something, a window smashes, and they're like, what the fuck? And then some guy, I just love how he's like, hey, eat this, and he throws whatever it, like some microwave or something that he stole. He just throws it down onto the ground, like not even at them, and then he starts running, and then they chase him down and whatever. But you have this again, because it's cutting back and forth. You have the bit where Jamie Lee Curtis's character Nora is just like, we want it to be, you know, good, and she said that this is Enrique's first Christmas in America, or like his first white Christmas because he's never seen snow, whatever it is. So we want to make it special, and then it cuts back to them like screaming because they've got the like thief against the cop car window. They've like slammed him against it, and they're arresting him, and he's like face is squished up on the screen. They're like,
yeah,
it's great. But the fucking police just leave him in the car.
Yeah, and then it's just
to go to the party.
Yeah, so then obviously Dewey lets him in the party, and then he's relevant later.
He's like, please, my wife and kids, I just need to get them some food. And I feel like he was just, in that moment, he was just Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, I'll let you go. Somehow has, maybe this is just some joke that they thought was funny, that Dewey just has access to all this stuff. He somehow has keys so that he can unlock the cuffs around the guy's hands. Because he just takes the cuffs off of him. And he's like, all right, but you're in there for 5 minutes. You can get all the food and then you come straight back, okay? You promised me? And he's like, yeah, I promise. And he's like, swear on your kids' lives. And he's like, I swear on my kids' lives. Spoiler, he doesn't have any kids. And he says that later, but
yeah.
So he goes in to like steal shit.
Yeah. And he's relevant later.
I guess thieves be stealing, I guess. Like, he's just been caught. He doesn't like try and run. He goes into the party where the police are. He's like, I'll just go and steal more stuff from this house, sure. I just can't help it. I got to steal stuff.
So there's the party happening, and they're like, we fucking did it. And then this guy shows up, and no one knows who he is. And I was like,
he spoke to Nora in the supermarket beforehand as well.
He's brought a ham, and it's all good.
He just he knows like
he knows everyone. And
when he's at the in the supermarket and talking to her, it's like super creepy because he's just like, Blair's coming back, isn't she? And she's like, how do I know? But again, I like this idea that they just assume, because it's like this small town, everyone knows everyone, and she's like, where do I know this guy? And it's that thing where you're like, how do I know you? I don't remember. And he's like, oh, you're living up on this street, aren't you? And she's like, yeah.
So I was like, okay, no. What's the gag here? Is he going to be fucking Santa or some shit? And it's going to be the big reveal at the end. And he's fucking, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then, so the big reveal is, right, he kind of was Santa, because he was. It turns out, so the fucking thief from earlier, he's stolen some shit. They're like, hey, he's stealing some shit, and then he gets taken out by a guy holding an umbrella, dressed as Santa, and you're like, so okay. And it turns out, I think the guy's like, I want to say Malcolm or something, or.
No, Marty.
Sorry, Marty.
His name's Marty, yeah.
Marty. Yeah, so
they're like, who is that? And then they're like, it's Marty, it's Marty. Everyone knows Marty, it's Marty.
So they do the thing, like, he's, the thief gets taken down, and they're like, hey, nice one, Marty, hey. And he's like, yep, cool. And then Luther's like, oh, shit, you're the guy that was trying to sell me an umbrella at the start, dressed as Santa, and I didn't take an umbrella. And he's like, yep, better be going. This is good umbrella selling
good weather for season, season, yeah.
And I was like...
And he's like, because then Tim Allen's like, are you gonna work on Christmas Eve? And he's like, Santa always works on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh... So he wasn't Santa, because that would be really dumb. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't do that. But yeah, so that's basically it. They say that, that's the bit.
They have that nice turnaround, right? Where but yeah, Marty's the one who brings the ham as well. He just
just had a ham.
Thing of hickory ham.
He's like, hey, I brought the ham.
I bought the ham that I know you wanted. Because he's going around the party as well, just like talking to everyone. He knows everybody's names and
he can speak Spanish as well. He's speaking to Enrique.
Yeah. But then Tim Allen's like, well, fuck, I've got these bloody cruise tickets, haven't I? So he goes across to the old man that he doesn't get along with, because there's a whole thing about the old man's wife has cancer and it's like returned, and there's a bit later where somebody's crying and they're like, oh, this might be her last Christmas or whatever. So he goes over there and he's like, look, guys, I've got some tickets for a cruise, no strings attached. It's a heartfelt gift and you can take it, whatever. And there's actually a bit where he's talking to the old dude. And there's this expression on his face when he's talking to him. And I really like that bit where it's always, you know that thing where if there's an emotional moment and somebody's crying, at least I've always found, it's not as sad as when you can see that somebody's trying not to cry. You know
yeah.
And there's that kind of like thing with him where you can see that he really he almost kind of wants to say something and say that the gift means a lot and kind of thank him or whatever, but they don't really have that kind of, they have that weird kind of rapport where they're mean to each other and stuff, and he doesn't, and he's like, you know, some old guy, so he's probably like, feelings are gay, you know, so he's, you know, like the bloody fucking old people are. And so you have that kind of, that real kind of like weird thing where it's like male affection, which isn't, you can't tell each other. I mean, you know, it's a generation thing, but it's like, you can see that he really appreciates it, and he almost wants to say something, but he doesn't, and he's kind of like, you can see that he really likes it, and then he's like, we don't have to be friends now, do we? And he's like, not at all, and he's like, all right, old man, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah, you fucking...
Oh, he's like, all right, mate, up yours.
But yeah, like... They just
that's when
the
whole thing with the robber happens, and then Marty's like, I gotta bounce.
Yeah, and he
gets in his car.
Yeah, he gets in his little blue. It's a Volkswagen Beetle, and you're like, cool. That's the end. That was good. I'm glad nothing.
Selling umbrellas.
Yeah, I'm glad nothing happens and nothing weird, stupid happens, and then it's the credits, or like it's just about the credits, and then you're like. Oh, that's nice. There's a shooting star.
Nice zoom out of the house.
Yeah, you see.
They're all partying.
Yeah, and then you see some reindeers pulling something. You're like, oh, there was a Santa. Wait a minute. What are they pulling there? They're pulling a blue Volkswagen Beetle. Marty was Santa the whole time.
Marty is canonically Santa. Yes.
That made me so fucking angry.
This is a very, like, as much as I like this film, it is a very, like, American kind of Christian Christmas and whatever. And so Father Christmas is basically Jesus, right? And there's kind of like, you see a lot of kind of weird analogies to that, right? Because he's like, he's Father Christmas. He's like, there's kind of a weird thing with him and like God, and especially because of it being a festive season or whatever, it kind of gets wrapped up in that, and sometimes they can kind of be analogous to one another. And so it is very much like this, where it's like, oh, he knows everybody's names and he knows everything about everyone because he's Santa and he knows everybody and blah, 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 because he's bloody Jesus, kind of. And so, yeah, you have that whole thing. And I mean, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't bother me. I'm like, yeah, Marty, there he is, Santa. And he's riding off in his Volkswagen Beetle. And the fucking, because you have a thing earlier on where Frosty, because Tim Allen's character has such a hatred for Frosty, there's a bit when he's trying to pull him up the roof, and then Frosty's eyes start glowing, and it's this weird kind of, because you're like, is this happening? But it isn't really, kind of, maybe. But then the supernatural element's confirmed in the universe, so maybe. Because his eyes start glowing, and it's almost like it's evil. And then at the end, when it's zooming out, you see Frosty on the opposite house, and Frosty like turns and waves at the camera.
Yeah, and then
it settles back into place. Yeah, and I just saw it as like, this isn't really happening. It's just kind of like a fuck it, it's a Christmas film thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because no one is like that. Every character in this, no one is like that.
Yeah, but it's
but that's the film.
Yeah.
First up, before we do Bad Film Good, Shag, Marry, Kill.
Yeah. Frosty the Snowman.
Frosty, Marty the fucking Santa Claus.
Yeah, Marty the Magic Santa.
Or the Hickory Ham.
The Hickory Honey Ham.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I think the Hickory Honey Ham has probably had enough deaths, right? We've seen
the Hickory Ham is getting
it's getting squashed.
No, it's getting my dick.
Oh, you're gonna put a hole in that ham?
It's like fucking American Pie with a ham.
Yeah, all right, it's that. I mean, you're gonna marry Santa because he's Santa. I mean, he's got magic powers.
I guess so, but he's fucking he's so creepy.
Yeah,
and weird. Yeah. You've got to deal with that 24/7. And he's like, do you want an umbrella?
But he works. He's out working for. He's working hard one day of the year or 2 days of the year, or whatever the fucking thing is.
And then he's out selling umbrellas or some shit. What is he doing?
But it's fine because then you've got the North Pole, you're just chilling. You got all the elves.
I guess, yeah, but then Santa's abusing them. Or
but you're not gonna,
is that this one or?
It's not this one though. This one's just creepy.
I
took it as you think it's creepy, but it's endearing because he's genuine. You know what I mean? He doesn't have creepy intentions. So you're like, oh, who's this creepy guy? And then you're like, it's Santa.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you bloody push that. You push that snowman Frosty off the roof like he did before, kill him dead.
Juicing him, hanging it. But yeah, bad film, good. I mean, I don't know why I'm bothering.
Bad film, Christmas staple for me. Christmas staple. Tim Allen is just a Christmas staple.
I don't know. I can't really. Deck the Halls is a Christmas staple for me, so I can't really say anything about this, can I? But for me, this film makes me feel like Christmas because it's so stressful. It makes you feel like watch this in July, and you'll be like, oh, I wonder, it's July now. I wonder what Christmas is going to be like. Why don't we stick on Christmas with the Kranks? Oh yeah, stress. I remember horrible stress. This.
No, it's all Christmas for me. I'm like, Christmassy.
Yes.
Because it's all that kind of, again, it's that perfect kind of, it's the perfect neighborhood. You've got the perfect lights on the perfect houses and the perfect snow that's falling and the perfect choir that are all tripping and slipping all over the ice. Freeze them.
Yeah, freeze them to death like the cat.
Yeah. He's just got a pile of dead frozen bodies in his driveway.
And he's like,
everyone comes over the house.
Should we read some reviews for the film?
Yeah. Let's skibbity bap over to some reviews.
Do you want me to go first? As always, I get mine from IMDb. This is from 2008, so not too far after it came out.
They've had a few years to mull over.
This is from Freakfire, and it says it's 4 out of 10, and it says Tim Allen likes him some Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis, the woman known for her curves in Halloween and True Lies, is combined with Tool Time Tim Allen for a Christmas movie. I guess that answers the question. Can Tim Allen get the same woman Arnold Schwarzenegger can? Unfortunately, yes, he can. Although I wouldn't want Mr. Allen to run for political office. What is this fucking shit? There's more.
Are they confused with who Tim Allen is?
I don't know. Why is he talking about Jamie Lee Curtis? He's like, Jamie Lee Curtis.
We'll know for those curves.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Jamie Lee Curvy, that's what I call him.
Yeah, there's only one. There's one thing that this guy's here for, and I wonder if you could tell what it is. What we have here is the most for the most part, is an average Christmas movie, with the main protagonist not wanting to join in the festivities. Instead, with Jamie Lee Curtis, he plans a Caribbean vacation, and while it works out for the most part, no it doesn't, it all unravels with his daughter,
he plans it out, and pays everything.
He pays for it.
It works out for the old dude. Although, to be fair, his wife does have cancer.
But it works out for the most part, but it all unravels when his daughter decides to come home for the Xmas unexpectedly. It sure does take a long time for this film to get going. Seriously, over an hour of the film is about Alan and Curtis avoiding Christmas. That's literally what the film is about.
That's the point of the film. They literally get right into it within the first 5-10 minutes. And he's like, hey, let's skip Christmas.
Yeah. And while there was some kind of crazy moments, nothing that was really funny. The only time it was kind of funny was when Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis got into the tanning salon and were wearing skimpy bikini outfits. So many things could have been funny. We could have had Alan and Curtis just hating Christmas, much like Bill Murray did in Groundhog Day.
But I thought it took an hour to get into it. He didn't like the bit when they were hating Christmas.
That's the whole thing. Instead, we are left to ponder. Nobody goes insane. Beg to differ. It is, for the most part, everybody lives
nobody
happily.
goes insane because they are already insane.
Blah, blah, blah. Where is the comedy? Jamie Lee Curtis in a two-piece bikini and Tim Allen in a one-piece bikini is not enough to keep this film afloat. Overall, below average, bad script, D+.
Did you call it a one-piece bikini for a guy? I don't think that's what it's called.
Budgie smugglers.
Yeah. One-piece budgie.
Yeah, but this guy's just in it for Jamie Lee Curtis, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, I found it really Christmas funny. It was funny when she was wearing that bikini. Yeah,
or he's going for Tim Allen in his one-piece bikini.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, he's like, that was funny, wasn't it? But what have you got?
Well, I've got one from... so I normally take from Rotten Tomatoes. Which gave it a criminal 5%. I mean, damn. But anyway,
I agree with it. No, 5 is harsh.
95, maybe. No, not quite that much. 95% on nostalgia rating, but yeah. So I've got one from Richard Propes, maybe that's pronounced, from theindependentcritic.com, and this is from September 2020. So trying to find something to do during the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's weird. The rating was 2.0 out of 4.0 stars.
So about 50%. That's not bad.
Yeah. But it says, Alan was a bit low energy for my liking, but actually came off better in this. Better in his more sincere scenes towards the end of the film. So, Alan, basically, I want to put this on because I disagree with it. Alan was a bit low energy. He was going crazy in this film.
He's an insane
he literally
man.
had the bit in the beginning where he put the speaker down, playing some Bahamas music, and he was just fucking dancing himself around the place. What are they talking about? Low energy.
I think
Richard?
I know. I think I get what they mean. As in, like,
I mean, there was a lot of like kind of dry sarcasm stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's very almost not emotionless, but he's very like ironic and stuff. But he's not like
it's not low energy.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about?
I mean, the point of his character is that he's very done with everything. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then I've got two, which I just found it funny. There's two separate reviews. One by Bradley W. This is audience reviews now. Yeah. One by Bradley W. One by Jim C. The one by Bradley is from December 2nd, 2011. And the one by Jim C. is from August 15th, 2011. Both of them 1.5 stars. And both of them say the exact same thing. A terrible Christmas film and really boring.
You can copy my homework, but make sure you change.
Yeah. Make sure you change the date.
Yeah.
And your name. And that's it. So yeah, that's what I've got.
Oh, nice. Well, look, we've looked at some dumb shit, but should we look at some real life dumb shit?
Some real life dumb shit.
Right. Well, this is
it's gonna be about
Skibbity-bop-bop, dumb shit.
Great.
Yeah, we've nailed that. Yeah, so this is less of dumb shit and more traumatic story for me that still haunts me to this day.
Oh, my favourite ones.
Of course, Christmas themed. This is why I have not and will not eat venison for the rest of my life. Venison, in case you don't know, venison is baby deer, and I'm told it's quite nice. I beg to differ. But so we still do this, but we used to have our Christmas meal on Christmas Eve because my dad would quite often be working Christmas Day, and it just worked out better to do it on Christmas Eve, so it was quite nice. And Mum doesn't.
And you got no food on Christmas Day.
Yeah, no.
There was nothing. Christmas Eve's your meal for the year.
Yeah, and then we just eat sweets that we get for Christmas.
Sand.
Sweets and sand, yummy, and the heart of Frosty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like we used to have like not turkey because Mum didn't really like
special
turkey.
Brand not turkey.
Yeah. Yeah, off-brand turkey, not turkey. So we used to have like different meats and stuff. And one year, Mum was like, "We're gonna have venison," and I was about 23. No, I was about 8 or something. And I was like, "What's venison?" And Mum was like, "Well, it's like lamb. It's deer, but like baby deer." And I was like, "Fuck that shit. I ain't eating that fucking shit. That's Rudolph you're eating. Fuck you."
Oh my god, raising you must have been so difficult.
Little 8-year-old like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
So I was like, that's Rudolph, and I was getting all upset. Now, when you're a parent and your kid's getting upset about having to eat deer for Christmas, in my mind, you have two options. You either console them and comfort them, and give them different food options, or just be like, "Look, just try it. You might like it. Blah blah blah. We all eat meat and stuff. You gotta accept where it came from if you're gonna eat meat. Blah 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 blah. All that stuff." Or you can go the exact opposite way and take the opportunity to torment your child, and 15 years later they still haven't forgiven you. And what my mum decided to do was the latter. So she she cooked the venison. We're all sat around the dinner table. It's Christmas Eve. Everyone's in good spirits. And she brought out the venison. And she decided to place a single cherry tomato on the end of the plate, the serving plate, and was like,
"Oh no."
She was like, "I'm sorry, Rudolph's had an accident," and put it down. And I was like, I ran upstairs crying. I was like, why would you do that?
That's so bad.
It's so funny.
It's so funny because I know that's the kind of thing you'd really appreciate now.
Yeah, now I'm like, yeah, that's brilliant.
Brilliant. Fuck them kids.
Yeah. But that's my real dumb shit for this week.
That's so good.
Right, well, yeah, that's about everything that we've got for this week. Next week we're going to be doing Jingle All the Way, which is I'm excited for.
Yeah.
You can watch that on Amazon if you want to keep up to date with us and listen as you watch. Maybe, who knows? But if you want to keep up to date,
knows?
if you want to keep up to date with the show, you can follow us at Twitter and Instagram at badfilmgood, all one word. We put up little posts and stuff like that, so you could give those a follow there. If you want to get in touch, you can always message us on there or send us an email at gmail.
gmail.badfilmgood@email.com.
Yeah, that's the one. So just send us a message there. If you want to help out the show, give us a 5-star review or tell a friend. That would be really good. But as always,
spread the holiday cheer. Spread the Bad Film Good holiday cheer. Crack open that Stella.
Yeah, crack open Stella and torment your kids. Scar your kids for life.
Show them pictures of dead reindeer. Tell them it's Rudolph.
And then make them eat it.
Don't do that.
But yeah, as always, we'll leave you with an inspirational quote from Inspirobot, which is a randomly generated image with a random quote slapped on top of it.
Just a big old
slap
quote. On.
Give a big old slap. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on. Take it away.
So mine it's quite inspiring. It says, well, no, I'll do the picture first. It's of a tortoise, and he looks kind of pleased with himself, to be honest. It's like a close-up of a tortoise. He looks pretty chuffed. And so I like to imagine that he's telling this to us, this tortoise, this wise old tortoise. It's Oogway. It's Master Oogway.
It's Oogway, It's Master Oogway, yeah. It's an Instagram account of Master Oogway doing the rhymes, but it's always like, if you missed her, then find her sister.
Shall I try and do it in the the Master Oogway voice?
In the what?
In the Master Oogway voice.
Oh, in the voice? Yeah, go on.
I'll give it a go. Face it, getting a makeover can to some people not be worth it.
Sage advice.
Yeah, he's basically saying, hey, if you're ugly, you're ugly.
Yeah. It's kind of inspiring.
Yeah. What have you got?
All right, so mine is it's a nice, what you'd assume to be kind of the beginning of the ocean. You've got all the kind of glittering lights of the sky off of the bits of the sea, but it's all out of focus because you've got a hand that's in focus, kind of reaching out, palm upwards towards the water, and it just says, "You are fucked up."
Amazing. It's perfect. Well, I'm glad that I hope that left you inspired, and I'm glad that we're done with this shit film.
This great film, you mean?
Honestly, I liked it.
Film.
I really did like it.
Yeah, I just like how silly it is.
Yeah. It's an insane film.
It's just good jolly joy.
Good jolly joy. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you.
Yeah,
next
and
week.
I mean, well, this will be the one before Christmas. So.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. So to Merry Christmas to all those.
Merry Christmas.
The one person in Berlin, shout out.
No, it was Belgian.
Oh, was it Belgian? Oh,
yeah.
I just got totally wrong. Began with a B.
Same thing, innit?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the.
We lost them now.
Yeah, they're gone.
All right.
Yeah.
What was Mike Tyson saying?
Merry Chrith-mith.
Chrith-mith.
Oh yeah. Good night.
To all a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
To all a good night. Bye.